It's 6 o'clock GMT in the Ghanaian capital, Accra. Good morning. Welcome to the Starr Breakfast News. And coming up this morning, President John Dramani Mahama directs all ministers to declare their assets as part of efforts to tackle corruption in his administration.
It cannot be business as usual. We must be transparent and fair in all our dealings. I expect all of you to begin the process of declaring your assets.
Also coming up, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Minister Dominic Ayine, to meet Operation Recover All Loot preparatory team next week to review its progress and findings.
Basically, the oral committee and I will be meeting somewhere early next week, most likely on Monday.
Education Minister Designate for Gender, Children and Social Protection reveals plans to decentralize school feeding initiatives and ensure arrears owed caterers are paid.
Not only the implementation of the school feeding goes on smoothly, but also the quality is assured. And so I will work within that framework to ensure that the rest of the payment is done if we are able to effectively decentralize the feeding program, as we are also looking at.
She's also been outlining plans to ensure men get some time off work to spend quality time with their newborn babies and families.
Very well. So are you intending to advocate for paternity leave?
I would love to advocate for that, but I also love beyond that to ensure that there are some measures to ensure that when the men take the paternity leave, they actually spend it with the family.
We've got details of these stories and more coming up, but first let's remind you of our affiliate stations across the country.
Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, MyStar Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 1035 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM. Starr News. Informed, in depth, in touch.
Many thanks to you for choosing Starr News. I am Nurein Abass. Now, President John Mahama has directed all ministers in his administration to declare their assets as part of efforts to curb corruption. According to him, the move will ensure transparency and accountability in governance. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony of the first 6 appointed ministers at the Jubilee House here in Accra, President Mahama said the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, would soon announce a cut-off date by which all eligible appointees must submit their assets or their asset declaration forms to the Auditor General.
I therefore charge you to serve in humility and candor, always remembering that we serve at the pleasure of the Ghanaian people and that the authority we exercise emanates from them. We must exhibit tolerance for their views and work to meet their aspirations. This government will not tolerate arrogance or disrespect for the people who elected us into office. Modesty and prudence must be the guiding principle upon which you, myself, and our Vice President fashion our governance. The people of Ghana will hold us accountable for the trust that they have placed in our hands. It cannot be business as usual. We must be transparent and fair in all our dealings. The anti-corruption institutions will be empowered to investigate and deal with any appointee who falls foul of the law. I expect all of you to begin the process of declaring your assets. The Chief of Staff will announce the cut-off date by which time all eligible appointees should have deposited their assets declaration forms with the Auditor General.
The president also urged the newly sworn-in ministers to tell Ghanaians the true state of the country they inherited.
While we were all aware of the country's parlous economic state before the elections, it is important in the spirit of openness and transparency to inform the people of Ghana about the true state of affairs as we inherited it. Therefore, I encourage the ministers, as you assume office, to tell the nation about the state of affairs in your sectors, even while you work tirelessly to lift us out of the current situation.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Dr. Kisiel Atuforsin has assured the President the newly appointed ministers will not let him down. Now, Attorney General and Minister for Justice Dominic Ayine says he will meet Operation Recover All Loot Preparatory Team next week to review its progress and findings. The team established by President Mahama before his official swearing-in was tasked to gather information about alleged looting of state properties. The AG believes the meeting will determine his next line of action. He spoke shortly after he was sworn in.
Basically, the oral committee and I will be meeting somewhere early next week, most likely on Monday, and I will be briefed by them in respect of what they have gathered so far, and of course, I will take over the information that they have. Listen carefully. I'm saying information that they have gathered. Information is different from evidence that can be used in a court of law.
You heard the Minister of Justice and Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine. Now, the Minister Designate or the Minister for Children, she's actually the Minister Designate. The Minister Designate for Gender, Children and Social Protection and MP for Krowa, Dr. Agnes Namumu Lati, has assured of her commitment to ensuring arrears owed school feeding caterers are promptly paid. Speaking during an appearance before Parliament's Appointment Committee, she stressed on plans to decentralize the school feeding program.
Clearly from the manifesto, you realize that the intention is to address the current bottlenecks that we have around school feeding and the capitation grant. In our manifesto, we want to extend to even the private schools. And from my checks from the ministry, there's an indication that about 40 days have been paid, 31 days in arrears in terms of what is owed the caterers. I think with me, one of the things I know is my strength is JoJo or dialogue with whoever and whoever is involved for us to find lasting solution. But once there's been some payments made, I believe that His Excellency has committed to ensuring that not only the implementation of the school feeding goes on smoothly, but also the quality is assured. And so I will work within that framework to ensure that the rest of the payment is done with the Finance Ministry and then also Education.
Dr. Namu Molate also outlined plans to ensure men get some time off work to spend quality time with their newborn babies and families.
I will encourage you that if you even have the opportunity to take care of 6 months, please do that. But there are other ways on a more serious note to do that. Creating daycare in the company that makes it child-friendly for the women to bring the kids there with a little support from the company or the organization so that they don't have to be worried. Psychologically, the woman can be present or physically present in the company, and yet the mind is at home. And so you can have her being there working for you, but to have the utmost output, it is better we make sure that there's holistic care. And so I will sit with all stakeholders. There are CSOs who are deep into it. There are lots of advocates. I will join them to look at what is best, ensure that we push it, and if Ghana and the people of Ghana agrees to it, surely I will be the #1 champion.
So are you intending to advocate for paternity leave?
I would love to advocate for that, but I also love beyond that to ensure that there are some measures to ensure that when the men take the paternity leave, they actually spend it with the family.
Now, still on the veteran, the minister designate for tourism, that is Abass Gomashi, is urging Ghanaians to promote ecotourism to help combat climate change. She expressed her readiness to collaborate with stakeholders to ensure the tourism sector becomes a vibrant contributor to national development. Speaking during her vetting, Madam Gomashi advocated sensitization of the public to help drive the initiative.
The ecotourism is what the world is driving towards, and it's important that we take advantage of it. It will interest you to know, Chairman, that one of the committees that have voluntarily joined is the Climate Change Committee, because I know that it is what can help my specific community. So I share in your concern. I think that education, we cannot leave it in the hands of one sector. All of us must be interested in keeping our country clean and promoting ecotourism, and also ourselves being ready to want to live in a clean and healthy environment. So it would be great to be able to work with the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, and also allied agencies to see how best we can do this together. I know that the World Bank invited me to a couple of meetings, I think between 2013 and 2017, to discuss these things, and I'm willing to go back to them and see how we can take that up.
You heard the Minister Designate for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Abass Gomashi. Now, the Member of Parliament for Ho Central, Edem Kofi Potosu, is calling for a prompt investigation into recent disturbances in his constituency. This comes after a group of Irish youths believed to be members of the governing NDC went on a rampage and vandalized the party's constituency office in a bid to register their displeasure at the neglect of that constituency in the recent ministerial appointment, despite securing the second highest number of votes in the Volta region during the last general election. Speaking to Starr News, the lawmaker urged the Ghana Police Service to act quickly and get to the bottom of the issue.
The police came in, the fire service came in to put out the fire, and the police after the people. When I spoke to the police this one, they said they have invited them and they are here to appear before them, and they have not given me any feedback yet, but we are in Parliament, so when we have some time, then I'll call back the police for updates. It's in the hands of the police, unless they brief me that these are the substance they have gotten. I can't mention any name because I am not part of the investigative machinery.
You're still listening to the Starr Breakfast News. For many, vetting is a rigorous process where candidates or persons are examined to determine their competencies or otherwise to a designated position or role. The ongoing parliamentary vetting may have split opinions about if this aim has been achieved. However, one cannot deny the drama and flaring tensions that has unfolded and characterized these sittings, But amidst the tense moments and loud disagreements, the ongoing parliamentary vetting has produced some rather interesting moments that has warmed the rather cold vetting atmosphere. My colleague Isaac Abila reports.
Honorable Haruna Idrisu, it is saying, and crying for now, mate, cantonese, baby.
Rather unconventional questions for a parliamentary vetting, you would agree. But there you have Tamale South MP and a man born and bred on the streets of Tamale in the northern region, Haruna Idrisu, having to answer questions in three from the ranking member of the committee and Efitu MP Alexander Afenyomakin. His crime?
Honorable nominee, you say on your CV that you speak English, Dagbani, Hausa, and Twi.
But having listened to Haruna Idrisu's response, what is the verdict of the committee?
You've passed. I'm thus far impressed with your tree. I'm sure that there is a southern inspiration.
My wife, Mary, Safwa Yeboah.
Oh, very well.
We'll bring you the full version in subsequent bulletins, but that will be for this morning's bulletin. When you log on to starfm.com.gh, you'll find more news updates there. I am Nurein Abass. Many thanks for your company. Next, we have Jones Aji with Sports Chat. Do enjoy the rest of your day.